I fucking love this.
What was the misinformation?
I almost feel like we should go through the whole video.
This is coming from a socialist.
No.
Oh, see, now that's what happens, right? When you're an agitator, when you're willing to I'm just going to say the shit and fuck off with your feelings, right? Triggered PBD. And he usually doesn't do ad hominem shit, but this is him trying to do an ad hominem. You're a fucking socialist, bro. Oh, you got him, PBD. First of all, he's a social democrat. Second of all, even if he was a socialist, that's not an argument in and of itself to be you're a socialist. Third of all, he's about to fucking take you guys to the woodshed.
Wait. Credibility of a socialist system that has never worked. But I want to hear it.
That is anti-oligarchy.
But I want to hear it. I want to hear it. Go for it.
First off.
Yeah.
I want to hear it. You don't sound like you want to hear it. You definitely don't want to hear it.
You seem to not understand that these were not undocumented immigrants who were getting these Social Security numbers. They are non-citizens. Now, when you came to this country, you were an immigrant. Your parents came legally. Right. Every single one of those people who got those Social Security numbers are here legally.
Let me just say right up front here, their whole video is already shattered. Because the implication was the opposite, that these are illegal immigrants who are getting Social Security numbers, right? That was the whole implication of the video. And so that's already shattered. And of course, Sam's 1,000,000,000% right.
Not citizens, just like you weren't when you first came to this country.
Yeah.
You get a green card. Your parents get a green card. They go through a process. Yeah. All of those people, and to understand, they got their Social Security card.
I really want to see your point.
Well, the point is, you referred.
The point is, the whole video was wrong.
Them as undocumented and illegal.
No,
you did.
I said non-citizen.
No, excuse me.
Don't say everyone here. I said non-citizen. Correct yourself.
I can't remember which one of you got it wrong. I think you did.
Just you're thinking.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. It's all right, maybe you, PBD, didn't explicitly say they were illegal, but somebody did here, and it was you, I think. And I think he pointed at Vinny.
We can play the video and go through it, but
I'm still trying to get to the point.
I just want to make. Well, the point is, they're not.
Come on, look how dismissive they are because they know they're caught. They're bro, what's even the point? The point is the whole fucking segment you did was fucking wrong. That's the point. You're spreading complete misinformation about Social Security at the exact time that the world's richest man is illegally slashing the program, doing a 50% cut of the Social Security offices, cutting off the phone line, which is used for 40% of claims because old people like to call because they're old school, right? So while lying too and saying, oh, there's so much fraud and we're cutting out the waste, fraud, and abuse, so we're cutting off the fraudulent payments. Meanwhile, we covered the story on this show. There's already been people who they're not getting it illegally, they're not getting it fraudulently, but Elon cut off their payments. There's a guy they said was dead. He wasn't dead. There was another person who they said, you weren't born in America. Yes, he was. He was born on a U.S. military base in Germany, which is U.S. soil, which means he's an American citizen. And they lied and said he's not. They cut off his money. He had to go back and try to get it and go through the fucking hell process in order to do it. And that's the only two cases that we've seen in the media so far. How many hundreds or thousands do you think there fucking are? How many? And how many more there are going to be? Now that you cut 50% of the Social Security offices, they're trying to make Social Security collapse under its own weight, which will mean what? We'll have skyrocketing poverty and homelessness among senior citizens. The poverty rate before Social Security was 40% for senior citizens. It dropped to 10% because of Social Security. They want to go back to 40, right? That's why this matters.
They're not illegal. They're not undocumented. They're all legal.
Right.
The expansion from that program, the EBE program, which is enumeration beyond entry, was started under the Trump administration.
Ooh, another fact they left out.
The numbers have gone up because, yes, under Biden, as opposed to Trump, there was an expansion of people who were here, probably, I'm not sure.
A lot of illegals.
Excuse me.
10 plus million.
Not a single one of them.
Breaking number of people.
Hold on, you're changing the subject now.
No, I'm not changing the subject.
He absolutely is changing the subject. He absolutely is changing the subject. A record number of people illegally came in. He's talking about border crossings. And again, the reason why there was a massive influx of people, take a guess. Take a guess. What happened in between Trump's first term and then Biden at some point during his second term? It's almost like we had a horrific global pandemic which massively crashed the number of border crossings. And then as that global pandemic waned and eventually went away, then you had more people cross the border. But of course, that context is not added because then you can't make your fucking highfalutin argument of Trump good, Biden bad.
And every one of those Social Security numbers that was handed out.
So how do you feel about the illegal immigrants that came to us 4 years?
I will get to illegal.
You don't care about those people.
I will get to
Notice, totally change the subject. And I'll come back to the subject they want to talk about. They don't actually want to talk about it with somebody who knows what they're talking about. They don't actually want to talk about it. But they're trying to change the topic because they were fucking stone cold caught. Like, oh, what do you think about the illegal immigrants coming into the country, bro? Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
You cared about children.
But you don't want to talk about this, and I don't blame you because it's embarrassing.
No. But let me do a quick time out.
Every one of those Social Security numbers.
Do a quick time out here. Sam, let me just do a quick time out. You said you don't want to talk about this. You just spun away from a question I asked you and you brought this up.
You must be out of your fucking mind and know nothing about Sam Seder if you think he is trying to avoid what you just brought up. Not only will he come back to it, he will come back to it and dissect it for 40 minutes straight and break down how that's bullshit too, as I'm going to do also. But I'll do it in a minute.
Question I asked you.
Let me
Wait
finish.
a minute.
We'll get to the
point that
illegal
let's go back to what I asked you. I asked you a question that the money that's going in, Americans prove that they don't trust the government getting the money than free market, free enterprise.
I don't think that's the case.
You never addressed that.
I don't think that's the case. People love Social Security. People love Medicare.
Expenditure. What we learned with Doge. The American people said, Sam, enough of you taking our tax money and see what you're doing with it.
Elon Musk made that Wisconsin election of a referendum on Doge. To the extent that we've seen anybody vote on Doge, nobody heard the word Doge before November of last year. To the extent that we've seen a referendum on Doge, it just happened in Wisconsin. It happened in Florida, where the size of the win by those Republican congressmen was cut by 17, 20 points. I mean, this is a wipeout.
Oh my God, this injected into my veins. For Patrick Bet-David to be like, bro, people don't even trust the government, bro. As Sam points out, go look at the polling on Social Security. Go look at the polling on Medicare. Go look at the polling on Medicaid. And then ask people, hey, should we cut those programs? Bro, it might literally be single digits that say, I want to cut Social Security. At most, maybe 20%, right? These are the most beloved government programs in the country because they work and they deliver for people materially. Giving grandma a check of $1,000 a month to make sure she's not homeless, that's a pretty popular idea. So this broad argument of like, bro, the people don't trust the government, bro. Really? Well, how's it working out under Republican stewardship right now? How's the economy looking? By the way, this was the day that the market literally fell off a cliff because of Trump's idiotic tariffs. It happened that morning. This was being recorded like right after we got that news. They didn't talk about it up front. The biggest news of the day fucking buried it. Gee, I wonder why. Could it be because they love Trump and they don't want to dump on Trump? And that would be the logical thing to do the day that shit fucking collapses?
And every Republican, you're going to see a difference in Republican lawmakers over the next year and a half because anybody who was in a plus Trump 8 district or less is now starting to go like, wait a second.
In other words, what he's saying is Elon Musk is electoral cancer because now people see who he is and what he's doing and they're going, I don't like this. Elon Musk's approval rating this is the last poll I saw from like 2 weeks ago. It might even be worse now. 30%. His approval rating is lower than Joe Biden, and Joe Biden's brain is leaking out of his ears. Okay, 30%. Because people see what he's doing. They see he's slashing the Department of Education. They see he's slashing flight safety officials as planes are falling out of the sky. They see he's slashing the CFPB, the anti-scam police that returned billions of dollars to Americans who were defrauded by big financial institutions. They see all of it. They see all of it. He cut anywhere between 100,000 and 250,000 government jobs illegally, by the way. People are losing their jobs. So they're looking around, who do I blame? Well, it's Elon. He's bragging about fucking slashing all this shit. The idea, they're living in this fantasy world where it's like, 2018 or something, and Elon has a positive approval rating. People fucking hate the guy now. All right, but now let's get back to the more serious, direct point here. Vinny chimes in at some point here soon, and he says, he talks about Biden's open border. And, implies like Sam Seder supports it and Democrats more broadly support it and they're all crazy because how could you support an open border? And it's moments like this where I want to pull my fucking hair out and where I think no matter how on point I can be in this show and how direct I can be in this show explaining the reality of stuff to you guys, it just doesn't break through with some people, right? And that drives me crazy. So this is the talking point you hear all the time. Oh, open border. The left wants open borders. The Democrats want open borders. Joe Biden had an open border. Guys, I don't want any of you to ever take my word for anything I say. I want you to fucking fact check me. Fact check me to the high heavens for all I care. So I immediately went to Grok knowing that this was false. And I asked Grok, who deported more people? Trump in his first term or Biden in his term? Answer, Joe Biden deported more people during his term than Donald Trump did during his first term. According to available data, Biden's administration conducted approximately 4 million deportations over his 4-year term, while Trump's first term was around 1.9 million deportations. Joe Biden doubled the number of deportations Donald Trump did. And Vinny sits there and says, there was an open border under Biden. There was an open border under the Democrats. You want to know what Barack Obama's nickname was? The Deporter-in-Chief. Because he also, at the time, had broken the record for deportations. This is what I can't stand. It's one thing if you disagree with me ideologically or philosophically.